Hey everybody, this is Carl. Welcome to Carl's Opinion. How you doing tonight? And happy to see everybody on the channel. And we got a lot of news to cover, and Great Dirtbag will be coming in later as soon as he gets his phone charged up and his laptop ready to go. We'll be coming in on a video call. We also have available for you the telephone call, so if you want to call in, that phone number is area code 775-273-8970. And if you want to appear on a VMix video call with the Great Dirtbag and I, you can also come on in. We can bring you in, set you up, no big deal. Real simple, put in the chat, hey, I want to appear on the VMix video call. And, then I'll just, if I don't have your email address, well, you know what, just send me an email. It's even better. Put in the chat, hey, man, I just sent you an email. I'll reply to the email with the link. Boom, you hit the link, you come on in, I take care of the rest on this end, and boom, you can go in, come on in, be either, 2, 3 of us, however many, you want to go. I can go up to 8, so that's not a big deal. I don't like going up to 8. The most I like doing, most manageable, it seemed like, was when we had like 4 or 5, video call guests and stuff like that. So, but yeah, this first story, Joe Biden, I mean, it's just the gift that keeps on giving. I mean, this guy is fantastic. I mean, it's just wonderful. I mean, just one, and they're not gaffes. Again, he didn't mix up. Of course, the campaign team comes out and says, "Oh no, it's he mixed up Parkland with the other shooting, the one up in Connecticut or something like that." And he's like, "Oh, he mixed those two up." No, he didn't. I mean, you can tell he was actually talking about Parkland. Like he thought he was the vice president. He thought he had a meeting in his office with these people, and he just kept going on and on. He never once stopped himself from talking about it. But you can come in now. I have to keep my phone sideways. Okay, you know what? When you come on in, I'll fix your picture so I can bring you in, but I'll shoot you a link right now. Okay, just give me a second, guys. I'm going to shoot the Great Dirtbag a link. So let me just jump over here real quick, and we'll shoot him this link right now. Now, when he comes in, I'm gonna have to adjust his camera so it won't look sideways. It'll look straight right side up. I won't be able to do that till he gets in. So I'll take care of it when he gets here. All right, and there goes the link. You got the link coming your way. Let me just put that on there. All right, the link's on the way for the Great Dirtbag, and then once he gets here, I'm just going to play with his picture a little bit, just make sure we get it all set up and everything. And it should only take a few minutes once he gets on in here. Not a few minutes. It should take about 30 seconds or so. But anyway, so hey, how's everybody doing out there? And again, Joe Biden, the gift that just keeps on giving. You saw in the headline also regarding the story from Bruce Orr's testimony, kind of digging through it more and more now, and finding out that the Clinton team had was feeding this just to Bruce Orr through his wife, and he was bringing it right to the FBI. I mean, unfiltered, unverified, nobody checking it out. Said, here, take this, take this. Now, to Bruce Orr's defense, he was telling him, hey, this is from opposition research, and take it with a grain of salt. Probably used a few other choice words also, and they were like, hey, man, don't worry. We got it from here. We'll take care of it. So, one of those things where they didn't care if it was true or false. They didn't want, in fact, if it was false, they didn't want to know it was false. The last thing they wanted was somebody coming up and saying, hey, you know what, this is false. They probably got pissed off at Orr for telling them, hey, there's some issues with it, because Lisa Page was there at the time, and she actually testified to Congress. Because they asked her to confirm Bruce Orr's up. There's Mr. Dirtbag right there. And hold on, I'm going to switch headsets real quick.
Hello? Hello? Carl? Hello?
Yeah, you're good to go. Hold on a sec.
Hey, what's up? Sorry about that. Everybody. How's everybody doing?
Oh, your camera's right side up. You're good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I had to keep my phone, I have to keep it charged. I got to get a new charger. This thing is not doing what I'd like it to do, but it's the only way I'm going to be able to keep my phone, keep the camera on while it charges, because if not, it's just going to quit on me.
All right, you're on air. You're on air right now. You are live on air right now. So there you are.
Hello, hey everybody. Hey, what's up, Chad? How you doing, DA? American Joe Forbidden. How's everybody doing? Solex, Rocky USA, Lynks of Dawn. How is everybody?
All right, good deal. In fact, let me raise this up a little bit, just so we can see. Let me get here. Position. Nope. Hold on. Let me just do it a different way. I'm just going to bring this up a little bit here, just so we can see the names real quick. There we go.
Trying to see if I can get myself in the chat.
Yeah. Let's see. Yep, we're definitely on. We're definitely on YouTube right now, so we're good to go. But anyway, yeah, the first story I was going to cover was the Joe Biden thing. I know you. I know this is from. It's an opinion piece from the Washington Times. So I tell you what, you can actually see this, right? You can see the story on.
Mm-hmm.
You can see me in the story. Fantastic.
Yeah,
all right,
yeah,
so,
I can see it. I still got a delay on my but go ahead.
Yeah, you shouldn't have a delay from seeing me. Like if I move my hand right now, you should be able to see my hand move right now.
I think so.
Yeah, whatever camera, like the camera you're looking at that's filming you, that's a camera that has no delay on it. Like, right, that one you're looking at right now, that has no delay on it.
Oh,
right
okay.
There. Yeah.
Okay, but I can't see on my phone camera, but I can see on the laptop camera.
Okay, yeah, you're gonna have a little bit of delay there.
Oh, okay.
Alrighty, so
but,
let's.
Hey,
yeah.
DA, what's up? Oh, just saying hey.
He's
but,
like,
go ahead. What were you gonna say, Carl?
All right, yeah. Let me. We're going to cover this first story, and then we can. Then we'll talk about it on the other end. Okay, so here we go. All right, so the story from Washington Times, opinion piece: if Joe Biden is the best Democrats can offer, the party is in trouble. And it's by Charlie Hurt. Former Vice President Joe Biden is hopping around Iowa these days on one foot, the other being permanently lodged in his mouth. Poor guy can't get through a speech without slandering someone, slurring at people, or simply saying something incredibly stupid. Still, Biden's support in polls nearly doubles his next nearest rivals. The rest of the here, let me clean this up a little bit here, a little bit big. There we go. Okay. All right. And it's not that Democratic voters around the country are trembling in excitement over Biden. He's just the least terrible in a deeply terrible field. Democratic politicians, once viewed as serious people, have run off with the circus. They now embrace open borders, want to give free health care to illegals, and defend post-birth abortion, better known as, in other circles, murder. Now, here's a story I want to pick up right here from that. And I just grabbed it right now. Iowa Democrats want moderate candidate for 2020 election. So even though even though Joe Biden's ahead in the field, I mean Joe Biden's ahead in the field for a reason. I mean he's old and he kind of stupid. The Iowa Democrats aren't really interested in the left wingers, the Kamala Harrises and those types. They're just not interested in that. They don't want to go there.
And
go ahead.
Well, yeah, and that's where. And oh no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, and I'm just going to say because see those Rust Belt state Democrats are going to more than likely go to Trump because they don't want to run a moderate candidate. They don't want to put a blue dog Democrat in there to challenge Trump. They don't want, because I don't get these globalist strategy or the strategy these globalists have to make their puppets run on socialist platforms. The only thing I can think of is that they're hoping enough of the millennial generation registers to vote in the upcoming election, and that's going to be enough to overpower the conservative and independent voters that are backing Trump. That's the only thing I can see out of all this. And I don't think it's going to work because they're leaving out the equation. What they're leaving out of the equation is how many millennials are going to support Trump. Like I said, it's like I've said, people are waking up. The question is how quickly people are waking up. That's the big question. We won't know until 2020 because, we can't assume that anything's in the bag. We got to get out there and, not to sound like a broken record, but, I've been trying like crazy to find out how I can volunteer my services to, get people to the polls. And I was talking about that last time, how there's some things I want to say, but I won't say them. How, my local Republican Party is like, oh, we don't do that. And
we were talking about that last night. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but you know what? Like I said, I'm not giving up. I'm hoping maybe Judicial Watch can maybe help me out. Maybe they could point me in the right direction. There's a couple other places I'm going to go to tomorrow. But, if I have to, I'll drive out of my area, because we can't, it's like it's like I've said before. You know, we got to beat the left at their own game. We got to get out there. We got to start. And it's funny because there are groups out there. They're small, but they're growing. You know, and again, but they have to go from baby steps to running very fast, because even if Trump gets reelected, that's only 4 more years that that's only 4 more years that we have to try and change some minds. It's funny because on my wall and on my wall on my social media, I was actually echoed in a post, and I was among a few people who were, that from some of these big guys that are over there, and he tagged me in a post, right? What's funny is I'm starting to see a trend in more. So the reason why I'm mentioning this is because you've got to get on Parler. You've got to get on Parler, and you've got to get out there, because it's a growing platform. And if Trump goes over there, that whole site is going to take off real quick. But the reason why I'm saying this is because, I put some things on there, and yeah, some of the one-liners get echoed, but that's not why I'm over there. The one-liners are to attract people's attention to hear what I have to say, But, I put a thing out there on my wall, and it gets re-echoed and it gets retweeted. And one of the things that I'd like to put on there next is, hey, look, we got to find ways to get involved. We got to find ways to, kind of do what the left does, get people to the polls. I mean, we don't have to rent buses. We got vehicles. If you need gas money, do what you got to do. Budget for it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, It's stuff that we got to start taking into consideration, But anyway, sorry, Carl. I don't mean to go on a tangent there.
No, not at all. No, not at all. I agree. I mean, no, we talked about this last night with the problems you were having with your local Republican Party. That the same problem I had with my local Republican Party here, that they don't seem interested in putting in some extra work and some extra effort, and they seem like a little complacent. They don't think they have to kind of do anything. But even in states like even in counties, like if you live in a red county, I mean, it's not. The president, it's not electoral votes per county, it's electoral votes per the state. So you have to win the popular vote. So it's okay to run up, the vote in a county, as long as you end up getting the state and you get the electoral votes. And you're in Florida. I mean, hey, that's not guaranteed. That's a swing state. That's been a swing state for a long time. That's going to be a big fight again. It's a big fight every year, every 4 years rather.
Yeah. Well, see, here's what people don't talk about on the right. Okay, here's something that they don't. One of the reasons why the progressives are outworking us even more now so than ever is because they made their voices heard in the Democrat Party. They basically they echoed an idea, several ideas that went straight to the top, and there was nothing they could do about it. Now you've got people like the Squad who will push their ideas. What the conservatives need to do is they need to do the same thing. The only problem is we're hampered by rhinos in the party, and it makes it harder for the conservatives to hear their voice. However, what we need to do is work around that. We have to, they're like I was Google searching today, they're Trump meetups. They're small groups, but there are Trump meetups. Find out how you can get to these areas and go. I mean, you don't have to advertise it on your Facebook. You don't have to advertise it on your Twitter or your Parler. Just go. Don't be afraid to go. Just do it. I mean, we have to get past that. Look at me. I remember my first call-in show. I blacked out my camera. Look at me now. I'm showing my face. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I have to put my money where my mouth is. If I'm going to do something, I gotta back it up.
Right.
And that's the thing, and you're starting to see some people come around and get bolder. You're starting to see, the rallies are important because the rally people form connections, people form groups, and that helps too. But again, it's like Amazing Lucas was said, where is our squad? Where is where are our AOCs? Where are our cheerleaders? You know what I mean? And we got to find them. We got to find them, and we got to hope and pray. Look, Laura Loomer's talking about running for office. I think she's got a good chance of getting in. I don't know. Let's hope let's hope she can get a good message out there that'll attract voters. But I think she has a good chance of winning, because I think she's running in the district where Mar-a-Lago is at, I believe. but I haven't really. If I see anything I usually try to echo it because I am following her on Parlor.
Oh,
But I'm
Laura
growing
Loomer.
pretty.
Laura Loomer.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah, no, I mean no,
and
she's really smart. She's a smart lady. I mean, plus it was
yeah.
pretty funny what she did to Pelosi's when she brought those illegal aliens from Home Depot over to her place and had them jump the fence. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean
Oh
that
yeah.
was
Yeah.
classic. I mean,
Oh yeah.
yeah, that was too cool.
Oh yeah. But you know what? She's kind of like, it's like I said before, she's kind of like the Jim Acosta. Not. I mean, she's way better than Jim Acosta, but she's kind of like the Jim Acosta on our side. And you got to have people like that in order to push back against the left. And their so-called. You ever notice how the left have such memorable heroes? And I know here I am making fun of them, but these people, this ideology is what they're doing is a real threat, and it's coming. I mean, it's coming if we don't do something. You know, it's like you got Buttigieg, you got Ben Jealous, you got what is it, AOC? I mean, Shauna makes so many wonderful memes out of her name. Um, let's see, who else? Just God, I'm sorry, like when people say "feel the burn," yeah, feel the burn of socialism.
Right,
And
right.
and it's but I tell you what, as much as I make fun of these people, I know they're a threat to our way of democracy. Or let me rephrase that: constitutional republic in this country. You know, and we gotta get out there and start doing stuff. I mean, I just Carl, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to distract from. I'm not distracting from anything, am I? I don't want to
No,
like
no.
oh, okay. But one of the things that I mean, I would like to see other channels start talking about future candidates and how they're going to win. Somebody get the discussion going. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like you and I have kind of gotten the discussion going,
Right.
like people who could, be, hopefully if Trump wins, his successor, and people who can carry the mantle when he can no longer run for office. And but see, you don't really see people like Lucas or ABL or any of these other conservative platforms, these big conservative platforms talking about this. I mean, it's something I would ask them. Now, me, I don't have the education that a lot of these people have. So I couldn't really find ways to explain it in way, maybe like say with your help, Carl, I could, but I couldn't do it on my own. And I'm admitting this. That's why I can't do it, because I don't have the knowledge and the education to talk about it.
Well, no,
I have
well,
the
first of all, well, no. You have a lot of knowledge on politics. I don't know what the fuck you keep saying that for. Every time you say that, I just want to reach through like the camera and like smack you in the face or something. I mean, you know politics. You know these issues. You know both sides of the issues. You can
Mhm.
converse about these issues really well. So I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Every time you say that, I'm like, what the fuck's he talking about?
Well,
But anyway.
mhm.
I
Well,
mean,
no,
yeah, I
it's
have a
more
lot of
like it's.
yeah. I mean, I have a lot of education. I can
Mhm.
give you all the technical stuff about the system and all that shit. Hey, that's great. But I mean, politics is like being on top of the issues
Mhm.
and cross checking shit and researching stuff. You do that
Mhm.
all the time. So yeah, I mean, but hey, man, we
Mhm.
could team up. We'd make a good team, I think. Hey, shit.
Oh yeah, definitely. Trying to get somebody to call in so we get a good conversation going. But hey, if it's just you and me, that's all good.
Hey, yeah, no problem.
Um,
But yeah, just let you know, I'll let everybody know.
but
Yeah, you can call in while Mr. Dirtbag and I are on the video call. We can take a call in as well. So if anybody wants to call in, they'll be able to converse with both Mr. Dirtbag and I, and then of course we'll all be on YouTube. So the call in number is area code 775-273-8970. But I tell you what, let's cover this story here. I wish I
oh
had
yeah.
it up
Mhm.
without. I wish I had it up without the damn delay. But okay. But yeah, it's because if whatever device you're looking at me on, that's the device where there's absolutely no
Mhm.
delay. You'd be able to see everything. But that's okay.
Mhm.
I'm going to read it. I read them out loud anyway, so it really doesn't matter. So we're
Mhm.
good to go. All right, so let's check this story out. Iowa Democrats want moderate candidate for 2020 election. So here we go. Let's see. Des Moines, Iowa. This is from today from Seth McLaughlin, the Washington Times. Some Democrats sound poised to blow a hole in the plot line that suggests the aggressive far left-wing politics that have dominated the headlines in Washington will rule in Iowa's first in the nation presidential caucuses next year. They say the best antidote to President Trump is a nominee that can restore a sense of normalcy in Washington and bring the parties together, not an unalloyed liberal that could pour more fuel onto the partisan dumpster fire. For instance, Bill Grove, a former math and physics teacher from Council Bluffs, Iowa, said there is a disconnect between the defiant and unapologetic liberal voices of the quote-unquote squad on Capitol Hill and the Democrats he rubs elbows with on a daily basis, meaning that, his rank and file Democrats that he hangs out with in Iowa, there's a total disconnect between what the squad is saying over there in D.C. and what people are just sitting around the diner or, when they're at work or when they're at home talking to their friends, or online talking to their friends. There's a total disconnect. In other words, what he's saying is like what the squad is saying over there, like free health care for illegal aliens, open borders, that kind of stuff. That's not really what the Democrats in Iowa are really looking at. Probably not big on gun. Knowing Iowa, probably not super big on gun control. I mean, they want reasonable measures. The polling is like 90% of Republicans in the country want more intense background checks. So I mean, they're probably along those same lines. There's not much of a difference actually. It's like 95% Democrats, 90% Republicans want more intense background checks. Well, I hate to say it, but most Republicans are law-abiding citizens, so they know they're going to pass. I mean, we know we're going to pass. I mean, when I go to buy a gun, I'm not worried. Like anytime I went to buy a gun and I'm subject to a background check, I never walked in worried like, oh God, I hope I pass. No, I mean, I knew it wasn't like I was rolling the dice. I mean, and most Republicans are going to pass a background check. So, the only thing, they got to do something. The NRA a few years ago was trying to write something. After the West Virginia shooting, they were trying to write something up regarding mental health issues regarding background checks. It's just real hard because if nobody ever gets help, if nobody ever sees a psychologist or psychiatrist, then they'll never know. Now, a psychiatrist can, and I got one of these calls once. Actually, it was a client of mine told the psychiatrist, wanted to kill me. So, so I actually got so there's an exception to the patient doctor confidentiality, where if somebody threatens future harm, they're supposed to notify the victim, the potential victim rather, and law enforcement. So I got one of those calls once. So if they were seeing a psychiatrist and they were talking about, gee, I want to go, for instance, I want to go into a Walmart and shoot it up, then that psychiatrist could notify law enforcement, and then probably after that, it would probably be something to say, well, they can't purchase any firearms. They'd be on the no buy list. You can't buy a gun, like being an ex felon or someone who's convicted of domestic battery, that kind of thing. So, so basically, this guy is saying, "Hey, look, man, these people over there," and the reporter for the Washington Times goes on to say, numerous voters echoed that sentiment over the past weekend as a crush of Democratic presidential contenders fanned out across Iowa, holding town halls and meet and greets with potential supporters at breweries and coffee shops. Pete Buttigieg, mayor of South Bend, and Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts, and Cory Booker of New Jersey were the clear-cut winners in the field when it came to winding up the party faithful at the annual Democratic Wing Ding dinner fundraiser. Voters across the state gushed over Buttigieg, while also raising concerns over whether voters would elect a gay president. Biden and Harris of California, meanwhile, were followed by a horde of media and cameras at the iconic state fair. They signed autographs, posed for selfies. More than 20 candidates addressed the crowd on the renowned soapbox of the fairgrounds. They competed for attention against a backdrop of deep-fried foods, entertainment options, blah, 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 blah. Jeff Lynks, an Iowa-based Democratic strategist, said the state fair marks halftime in the Democratic nomination race. We have 6 months of campaigning, 6 months ahead. Things are fluid. Mary Lane and her husband, 79 and 82 respectively, decided they needed to have last-minute powwow to collect their thoughts before casting their kernels in the informal corn kernel presidential poll. And she dropped it in Biden's jar. He went with the husband went with Booker, who has struggled in polls but drew big crowds here. I don't know if I'm fully behind Biden or not, but I read in the paper and I've heard on CNN and so forth that Trump fears Biden, and that is almost what is driving me, the possibility of beating Trump, which is hilarious for the Democrats. They don't. She didn't say anything about what Biden's going to do for the country, except I hope he can beat Trump. I mean, that's hilarious how you vote like that. Wow, that's crazy. Go ahead.
You know what I take away from this article? How the moderate Democrats want a more, they want a more moderate candidate, somebody who's maybe middle of the road to slightly center left. What I think is going to happen is you're going to see the blue dog Democrats make their voices heard in the Democrat Party in the near future. I'm willing to bet that. Because if these socialists keep driving a wedge between the likes of Pelosi, the more established Democrats, you're going to start seeing more of these moderate Democrats speak up. And I think we're starting to see that a little bit with that guy, with that Democrat who defended Trump. And also that, again, I got to find out that guy's name, but the Democrat who was leading a lawsuit against Governor Murphy, who was, he was basically calling out the left-wing socialists. If you listen to him talking, and he was like, I back my law enforcement, and my law enforcement, by the way, when public officials are sending out tweets and warning illegals, warning criminal illegals that cops are coming, you're putting their lives in danger. The cops, to put, and he's like, I mean, like I said, if he's an actor, I can't say if he's acting or not, but if he is, he's doing. I'd have to say more. He's on the up and up. If I were a gambling man, which I'm not, but if I were a gambling man, I'd say that in particular New Jersey Democrat that was speaking was on the up and up, because I think you're starting to see a trend of that, of these Democrats say, look, we're tired of the divide, we're tired of this, you know what I'm saying? And I think you're going to start seeing more of that in the future. I'm hoping and praying. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong, but but again, what they need to do is they need to, although it'll never happen, but one thing both sides agree on is they want money out of politics. That's one thing that both sides agree on, is they don't want money influencing politics. They want everything, I mean, of course, how are candidates going to run their campaigns if they don't take donations, but that means that both conservatives and liberals are going to have to step up funding these candidates out of their own pocket. If you're going to get lobbyist money, if you're going to get corporate money, and you're going to get special interest money out of politics, but I don't know how you would do something like that. I don't know how you would start from scratch in that kind of an idea,
I don't know.
I mean,
well, no, I mean, trying to get money out of politics,
yeah,
that's like, that's kind of a disaster. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's never going to happen. I mean, it's like, I know this is a thing, but it's like, Planned Parenthood. You can't get rid of Planned Parenthood. You might be able to stop some of the things Planned Parenthood does, but you're never going to get rid of Planned Parenthood. I mean, it's kind of the same thing. You might be able to change some laws where it's kind of like what AOC and Ted Cruz, they actually kind of saw common ground in something. And I will give credit where credit is due. I commend AOC for being able to work with Ted Cruz on this issue of getting, making it, I guess they're trying to get legislation passed to where former candidates that have left office can't lobby or something like that.
Right.
I got to go back and reread that. But, I give her credit for doing something. You know what I'm saying? Not just, spewing random things, but, I will give the credit where credit is due,
Right.
But we need to find more common ground on things like that, But
it would be nice to have common ground, but yeah, it's really hard to find people like on the left that like I said, we always got to be prepared. We always seem like we're the ones compromising, and they're never compromising. I mean, it just seems like that to me. So.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And,
do you see that headline I have up there about Tommy Lee warning Trumpsters we're going to pay you back so effing hard for all of this? Do you see that? You see it on your screen? It should be on your laptop
one guy
screen.
Looks like they look like unemployed stunt doubles from the Backstreet Boys.
Or they look like old men now. I mean, these guys are all old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever seen that episode of Married with Children where Al Bundy's singing with, I forget who that band was, but he had his long hair on and he had that sandwich. He's playing the sandwich like a harmonica.
Oh wait, hold on. Got a call coming in. Going to take their Texas right now.
Cool.
Hey, Texas RN, you're on with Carl's Opinion and the Great Dirtbag. How you doing?
Hey there, I'm good. Hey everybody, long time. Hey, it's Great Dirtbag.
Hey.
formerly the great douche.
Yep.
Right?
And they won't let me change my name back for a while. I don't know when, but. So what's up? How you doing?
Hey, nothing much. I used to always comment under you. We're really funny. So, but anyway, but Carl, it's good to see you again, hear from you, and everybody in the chat room. I just had a few things. I put some little bullet points. I wrote some things in. The last thing you mentioned was about AOC. I'm thinking anything she does is kind of for optics, but I think they're so out of the park. I don't know if I can even give her credit for having discussion with Ted Cruz or anybody about it, because she's so the level of manipulation that this woman has done, and the people who came in. I think Trump said that that's not even her real name. So we're gonna later on find out a whole lot of these people are just actors kind of put in place. I don't think I think they're the one-term wonders. That's what I'm calling these people, because there's a whole lot that's going to come out of from them about them. I don't think they're not who we think they are. Who they say they are. Yeah. So that was that. And I had one of Biden's latest gems. I don't know if you all heard it, but one of the latest things Biden said was quoted as saying, "I love all races, even the bad ones." Oh God, Joe Biden. That's what he said.
Yeah,
lately.
he's losing it. I mean, whatever they're giving him is not working anymore. I mean, they ought to just let them. Yeah, it's not working anymore. I mean, it's like they gotta. I mean, I don't know. It's the problem is that you have these globalists that won't let these progressives run on any platforms other than free. And if you notice, and I know I've said this before many times on Carl's show, is that the likes of Soros and the likes of Steyer, they're kind of trying to ditch the old establishment Democrats, and they want these newer, younger crop of progressive Democrats to take over the wing. It's like right now, AOC's chief of staff quit. Something about money scandal. I bet you anything Pelosi had something to do with that. Pelosi's starting to, fight back a little bit, which I'm happy for. I don't care for Pelosi, but if these progressives win this infighting, it's going to get worse. But the thing too is that Soros is backing AOC. So,
I think that they're all crooks. Even when it comes to suppose these people they're compromised, and that was kind of the beauty of Trump. Had he not come in when he did, again, a lot of us I didn't know half. First of all, I wasn't even really interested in politics, but I didn't know half the stuff that's been going on. And even some of I know Greg Gustil on Fox News, he said that too. He says he didn't even know some of this stuff. So with President Trump, I think it's unearthing a lot of stuff that we were just unaware of. Kind of like we've been under like a hex. I mean, it's just we just didn't know. We've just been going along. Something happens. We give up more of our liberties, and we think that we're supporting the cause, and then we're safer. But I think that's what's been going on. They really have just hijacked. And about the Democratic Party, I would say this is my bold opinion on the Democratic Party. I've been saying it wrong for a long time. Democrat. But anyway, I think that really it's gone. It's been hijacked. There's no going back. And from what I know, I'm not thinking to go back to the Democratic Party from what it quote used to be is a good idea. This is going to be this administration has been a game changer, because I'm thinking even though we see Tulsi Gabbard hit it out of the park when she said that stuff to Kamala and read her, she basically just slayed Kamala on stage that night with all those truths. But a lot of us, I didn't even know that. But I think that even choosing someone like her, if she gets in, it's kind of like that's still I don't think they have the power to really, whatever, I guess, platform she thinks she's going to run her agenda, it's not going to survive. The globalists are intent on, I think these are just, everyone up there to me is just kind of like just puppets. We just choose one that will be gobbled up and that agenda will come in. I don't think that any one of them can really support anything, any even good ideas that they might have. And so, let me see, what else did I want to say? What is it? Let's see. No, okay, yeah. And anyway, what I'm thinking too with everyone up there on the Democratic side, I don't think any of them are equipped to handle half the stuff that Trump knew 30 and 40 years ago. They don't. They will be. They'll be decimated. This is so sophisticated. So this man has been in the know, aware, in it but not of it, and the level of viciousness of the media. And I mean, his connections. He's traveled the world. He's done business. These people they're not prepared for that. I'm thinking 4 more years. Now they're cleaning up the voter rolls. The borders, and the borders is more than just having people, not letting people come in illegally. This is about child trafficking and a whole host of other things that we're just not aware of. And this is the side of it that I've taken, kind of just a personal interest in. I think we're clueless about what's coming. Why the borders need to be shut down. And President Trump and this administration and Greg Abbott, our governor here in Texas, they are big, and President Trump's wife and Melania, big on this child trafficking stuff. There are awful things that are going on that we're blind. We don't know.
Well, hold on, Texas, hold on. Well, tell us. Let us know what's going on, because we don't hear a lot about child trafficking. We when you hear it, it just sounds like a Republican talking point. But I mean, tell us what's going on actually with child trafficking. With you're kind of in the business a little bit. Tell us what's going on as far as the numbers. How many of these kids are coming across? I mean, we heard they did that one little test case to see how many they tested, I think 100 different kids and family groups, and it turned out 30% of them were not the parents of the children. I mean, what stories are coming out of Texas, because we're not getting it on even Fox? What stories are coming out of Texas as far as how many kids are being taken into protective custody away from the people that are claiming that they're their parents? Are you hearing any news stories like that?
Well, yes, I am. First of all, let me go right to this. Tonight, I want you all to look at Mark Levin's show. Has a gentleman on. I didn't get his name. It's about 32 minutes. And this guy goes all in and talking about the trafficking. And then he says he's tried to go to Greg Abbott's been supportive. And he said, first, the president has been, and his wife. But he says that Fox is opening this up tonight on Mark Levin. The stuff that he shared, it's amazing. Because again, and it's some things you just feel you cringe thinking about it. But yes, it really is. We don't hear about this on the news, because what the left is trying to even push, Carl, and I hate to call you dirtbag, but
dirtbag.
but
oh yeah,
I'll do it just this. But what they're trying to push and normalize, even normalizing. Ruth, first of all, no one even knew Ruth Bader Ginsburg thought that the age of consent should be 12. So, I mean, this is our Supreme Court justice. That is true, and there's a book that she wrote. But yeah, the trafficking, which I even think that a lot of these people who are running, they're involved in that. So you won't even see some of these folks. That's just, so just be looking out for that. Okay, so but anyway. Yeah, especially in Texas, there are rings, the P word, I don't want to use it, but rings that are being busted up, heads of companies. When President Trump first came in, there were lots of people resigned. There was at least 7,000 or so people heading companies that resigned. You'll see. It's what we also, there are things that are happening on, that we don't see, which are good, but I kind of see them and hear about them kind of in the underground news. And we've gotten to a point where we think that everything is conspiracy type of thing. It's not. That's been a good way of shaming people from telling the truth. But this made Fox News tonight at least on Levin, and I think everyone should go and watch it. But yeah, there are. I didn't know about the percentages, but a lot of these people they're coming through. The cartels run the borders. So also check out Turning Point. Candace Owens, they had a symposium on the border. The Bannon spoke. A lot of other people spoke. We had a senator, Senator, I think it's Wyden was his name.
Ron Wyden.
An 8-month pregnant woman, across the border. Well, I mean, and they. So again, there's a lot of stuff is going on that. I tell you, but there's a reason for this stuff, and we've just been so asleep to what some people are into and what people have been doing and what they've been getting away with, because there was never anyone to really speak out and just kind of blow the lid off of it. But President Trump is very concerned about and cares about our children. And that means their children too. That means everyone's kids. This is not something about racism, but the cartels are running the border, and the money that people are paid. I didn't know child trafficking and human trafficking had so much. There was so much. People are rich because of that here in our country. So we're seeing a lot of that stuff. It's real, but you're not going to find it on CNN, even Fox News. But this was a shocker tonight that Mark Levin was interviewing this man, and he was so honest, and he just so please check it out. It was I couldn't believe it. I couldn't even watch the rest of it. Not that it was gory, but just I was so first of all, just so happy that it's coming out that someone's finally talking about it.
Yeah.
Because you have another question too, because I talk a lot and fast.
No, it's all good.
No, never fine.
Okay.
I was just looking for the story on immigration and trafficking. Let me see if I can find one real quick.
Check. Please look at it, because it's a lot, and a lot of people are going down because of that. And the Epstein situation, the conspiracy theories and stuff out there. I don't know if anyone saw him on the gurney, and that wasn't the same, facial features.
Yeah.
And
American Show did a video.
So
yeah.
So I mean, and that stuff, and I don't know about all that, but I do know that he kept that book, and just a lot. It'll bring a lot of people down. I mean, it's unfortunate, but again, the swamp is deep. Its tentacles run deep. Its tentacles run everywhere. I mean, that people in academia, religion, everywhere have just been compromised, and so everything was they were under like a stronghold. It was a gridlock. No one could do anything because these people they're compromised. I'm thinking that Justice, is it John? What's his name? John Roberts. Is that his name? Justice Roberts.
Yeah, the Chief Justice.
Yes. Yeah. Well, remember he adopted the kids. And, first he was even against Obamacare and that the individual mandate, he thought it was unconstitutional. Then he, flipped it and voted against, the president. And he adopted the twins from Ireland. But to me, I don't know, it just scares me a little bit that I'm thinking, he has status. He's able, of course, him and his wife are able to financially care for children. It has to be something deeper than just, a loophole that you adopted kids out of Ireland. We're forgiving people. It's like if you, took a shortcut and you were able to fly through some loopholes and you adopted the kids because you felt like what those kids needed was you and your wife, everyone would get that. But I just feel like a lot of these people are compromised. And that's why we've been under when you see people making and agreeing with things that that fly in the face of logic, facts, history. that's what's happening here. They're compromised.
Right. Yeah, this was a letter written from Donald Trump regarding human trafficking, and it should be up on your screen right
Okay.
now. And let me just take this one part down right here. Let's see here.
I'll see it when I
Carl, how badly?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, just real quick, the quote is this is an urgent, this is from February. This is an urgent humanitarian issue. My administration is committed to leveraging every resource we have to confront this threat, to support the victims and survivors, and to hold traffickers accountable for their heinous crimes. President Donald Trump talking about the humanitarian crisis. Let me just read on real quick here, and then we'll get back to it. And let's see here. Humanitarian crisis at the border. There is a humanitarian crisis at the southern border as human traffickers victimize countless women and children. Transnational criminal organizations from Mexico and Central America engage in human trafficking in staggering numbers across the southern border. More than 30% of women are sexually assaulted on the journey to the southern border. Nearly 70% of immigrants traveling north to the United States are victims of violence. In fiscal year 2018, Immigration and Customs Enforcement and Homeland Security investigations made 1,588 human trafficking arrests and identified 308 victims. Of the 1,588 arrests, 1,543 were for sex trafficking violations. Without a wall, our southern border is wide open to human trafficking. And talks about basically areas where we've seen a wall. In San Diego, illegal traffic has dropped 92% over 23 years. In El Paso, illegal traffic dropped 72% in 1 year, 95% in 22 years. In Tucson sector, these are all places where the wall went up. Illegal traffic dropped 90% over 15 years. In Yuma, 95% over 9 years. So, I mean, there are things that can be done, obviously, and the president is trying to do them. But obviously just catching a lot of crap trying to do them. That's the unfortunate part.
It's in people's pockets, and they're also guilty of some of those heinous things. It just really, you really have to, and even biblically, the Bible talks about this stuff, that people are doing. Nothing new under the sun. It's happening. But, and about this, the guy who's on Levin tonight, his sister was trafficked when he was young. So there's a movie coming out. So there's a movie, and they played a clip of the movie. And again, and he said that most of them, the people who, I mean, you're literally buying children, you give an age, you give whatever you want. It's like ordering food, basically.
Right.
And they're ordering people, they're ordering children. So he said, and people have to have money to do that. But then there's the, there's the groomer, there's the person who gets paid to go out and seek them out, and you feel comfortable with. So it's all that. This Epstein situation and it's just a small part. But it's busting a lot of people. I mean, you see the people on YouTube and mostly Twitter. Some of the Hollywood people and government people. They really are going after President Trump harder than ever. But now that most of us are kind of hip to what they're doing, it sounds ridiculous to us. But these people are literally, I guess, fighting for their freedom. Because they are compromised.
Right.
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. And even so, yeah. But so I wanted to say that. I probably had a lot of
Sorry.
I have to write some things down, but yeah.
Sorry about that.
No, but how have you been?
I've been okay, Carl. You know what? You're kind of hard on me, so sometimes I don't tell you.
Well, I am a good friend. Okay, so
yep.
I don't maybe tell you what you want to hear. I don't blow smoke up your ass. I'm your friend, so you can count on me for an honest opinion. You can count on me for an honest Carl's opinion. I like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm still I'm looking for for full time. I've gotten kind of used to the agency work, so but I'm still doing that. But I'm in the market for full-time nursing position and a possible relocation.
Oh, well, kick ass. Are you happy about the relocation?
I am. It's time. It's time. I've lived other places before, but I kind of realize that when I get a little stuck, and I've been in nursing for 22 years, and so sometimes I get a little burnt out, but I feel like I'm being revitalized in that, but that's going to take me moving and getting out of Houston. The traffic's too bad.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. It's got to be pretty horrible.
Yeah.
I definitely want a red state. Yeah, it's just it's really, when I get on the freeway now, I love driving, but I'm starting to get frustrated easier, and I'm just not. Yeah, and and too, with another thing with the patients we're getting, I've noticed that we're getting a lot more patients who, and this is how I'm affected here in South Texas with illegal migration. We get a lot of people who, they don't speak any English, and I've never had, in 22 years I've been a nurse, Barr. That's like a nervous. I used to know.
Like Epstein Barr? Is that what it's called? Like Epstein Barr or something?
No, Epstein Barr. No, it's Guillain-Barré, but it's Epstein Barr virus is the Epstein Barr, is that herpes? Let me see. But anyway, Guillain-Barré is when you lose you can't move your arms or your legs. It's like a autoimmune disorder. It's kind of like a paralysis, but in sometimes people, you gain it back. Mostly it happens to men. But I've had a lot of men come in who don't speak English and they have Guillain-Barré. So, and that was odd to me. And in 22 years, I've only taken care of 2 people with it. And I had 2 on my unit in 1 week.
Wow.
So, yeah. And a lot of sick people are coming over, and they don't speak English, but they are, like what the President said, we do have a lot of sick people coming over. And I understand, that they want to, they come here for the health care, but it really is, I've seen this in nursing and medicine for a long time. People, it's easy to take advantage of them too. And that's sad. That's what I'm noticing. It's like they're sick and they're relying on people, but nothing's for free. So I'm just wondering, like, what are they having to give up, to come here and be undocumented?
Right.
And that's the thing too. When you're undocumented, it's like you don't exist, and then that's the sad part.
Yeah.
No.
The other set. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, I mean the fact that, I don't have, again, if they come across the border and they're lying to us when they come across, and they're saying, "Oh, I need asylum because I'm being politically persecuted, or or I'm being religiously persecuted or whatever," and they know it's a lie, and they're just trying to get in. They're just trying to get past the 20 days so they can be released into the country and never show back up. Well, I don't have a lot of empathy for that. I mean, do they want a better life? Well, I don't know. Maybe I want to go to Canada and get some free health care. I mean, am I going to go up there and claim asylum? I mean, hey, I need asylum. Why?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because these folks, the people who are really sick, I don't think they're the people who are going there and negotiating anything. I think that they are basically, they'd have to pay to get here. So they still owe somebody, because the people who are going there and you see them, they're like, I'm leaving because I feel threatened and for asylum, any type of asylum. But the people who I'm getting, I know these people weren't able to negotiate anything. I believe that these are the people I'm seeing are who the coyotes are bringing across, the cartels. But and they need nursing help on the border too. So I'm not sure if I'm going to do that. I do have friends down like McAllen, Texas, and Harlingen, the Valley, but I'm not sure. I'm still going to go red state, but I'm just kind of ready to leave Texas. Period.
Well, Texas isn't blue yet. I mean, Houston, where you live, I'm sure your local representatives are Democrats, but the state is still red.
Mm-hmm.
And of all the
I'm in Sheila Jackson Lee's district.
well, I understand, but I mean, if all the Republicans leave Texas, then yeah, it's going to go blue. So you got to stay.
Yeah.
Sorry, you can't go. I mean, that's just the way it works.
No.
No, I can't stay here.
A lot of the California conservatives are. Oh no, it's going a lot of the conservative base that lived in California. I mean, over the course of the years, have moved to Texas, and they've gone I think they've gone to neighboring states. I don't know how far north of California they've traveled, but as far as states north of, well, there's only maybe just some of those states was I think Nevada. Doesn't Nevada border California? I think. Yeah, it does. But it just for John Cox to get as far as he did in California, that was pretty impressive. I mean, what did he lose? About was it 1.2 million votes he lost by? But how many of those votes were illegal immigrants voting for Gavin Newsom?
Right, and
I mean,
that's why the voter roll cleanup is so awesome. And I think being backed by the paper ballot backup, I think that's good. I think that we should also get a printout of our voting. Whoever we voted for, I think we should have a print. That stuff I think could be easy. I mean, the fact that I think that some of these voting machines were owned by some senators, like Dianne Feinstein owned voting machines. Like, how the heck?
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, but back to that moving. I think we have had a lot of people, I know one of the YouTube personalities, the YouTube Trump supporter, David Harris, moved close to Dallas, and so Dallas, Fort Worth, that area, very much red, and so North Texas is especially. But yeah, a lot of people from California. I mean, they are just they're leaving. I mean, it's was it Cal exit or it was
right,
exodus
yeah,
out of California.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, no, a lot of them were coming here to Nevada, and it really pissed me off because we were a red state until 2017, and then in 2016 our Assembly and Senate went blue, but not by a lot, and we still had the governor, a Republican. And then in 2018, the governor went Democrat, and then the Assembly and the state Senate went further blue. So now we're a completely blue state, and the governor just signed into law a red flag law. He signed another law allowing felons to get their voting rights back. I mean, all kinds of great shit, So it's just great, So I'm just waiting every week. I'm just waiting. Now, the only thing he did that was good, and this was amazing. I couldn't believe it. That whole, our state's electoral votes are going to go the way of the popular vote of the country. Okay, he actually vetoed that bill. Our Democrat governor vetoed that bill. So that I couldn't believe. Yeah, no, that was really cool. I mean, the Democrat Assembly and Democrat Senate passed it by pretty good numbers, and he talked to a lot of people, and he said, "Hey, man, we're about to become a flyover state." Because we're a small state, we're only 6 electoral votes, and basically if we want to just have nobody ever stop here, because the same amount of money you got to spend to go to Las Vegas even to get votes, you can go to L.A., you can go somewhere else. So he's like, no, we're not going to be a flyover state. People have to come here to earn our votes, and he vetoed it. And then nobody even tried to override him because he just said, no, man, this sucks.
Is your governor a progressive Democrat, Carl?
Well, it's Nevada, so I mean, he's kind of sort of. I'd say more progressive than less. I definitely say he's for gun control. He passed a nice gun control measure. What was it? God damn it, I can't remember now. But a lot of the sheriff. It was one of those laws he signed. He signed into law. One of those things where. I think it was, he did a mandatory background check. I mean, we already had background checks in the state, but he kind of amended it, added to it, and did a few other things. A lot of sheriffs, I know what he did. He did background checks for private party sales. Like if you're selling a gun to a friend, now you have to go through a federal firearms license guy. Both of you have to show up to the FFL guy, do the background check for the buyer, pay him like $15, $20, for whatever the fee is, and then they'll transfer the gun to you. You know, so yeah, but I mean, I'd say he leans more progressive than not. Definitely pro-choice, without a doubt, pro-choice. So yeah, he's not a blue dog Democrat by any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, all these damn Californians came into my state and just took it over. It sucked. You
Well,
know?
that's part of what they do, you know, because a lot of these people who leave their state, you know, these yeah, well, they don't understand that it's their own voting. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. No, they just don't understand that it's the way they vote is what causes these problems in these states to begin with. It's
Right.
like, you know, and that it's so true with the millennial generation. You know, the millennial generation, they're more, you know, I have a family member who's more concerned about how many likes she has on a post she makes than preparing for her future. You know, it just you know, I don't see how you could get more clueless. You know,
That's the millennials. I still don't like to call you that, but anyway,
it's okay.
About the millennials. But but look at but the black community. I'm talking about. You know, I was a few years ago. I was never as bad as what I see, but even the black people, you know, like I grew up in a household where, you know, my grandmother went to college, you know, so, and my grandmother would have been, 99 if she was still alive. She died in 2014 at 94. So, but she was to college. Most of my family, we had to, but they still they were very conservative in their practices and the way they lived. But they were staunch Democrats, and because I'm telling you, whenever you listen to people's reasons why they still vote that, because we were raised to believe Republicans were racist and they hated black people. It gets no easier than that. That is what it's about. And believe me, you then have not only is it your community and people around you saying that, even if they go to work with other races, get along with just fine, they've not seen that from someone else, it's still, you have it reinforced by media and everyone around you, and it's gotten only worse. I mean, it's like their strongholds, it just gets, they become more, because now they're seeing that they're losing the grip. And so they're just getting worse. And so, but now they look ridiculous with all this racism stuff, this white nationalism. And Doctor, and I know I'm hogging this. So if someone, I'm sorry to you know, everyone who's listening. I don't want to keep this up, but I do want to say this. Dr. Carol Swain, she's a black Christian professor. She used to teach at Vanderbilt.
Yeah, in Tennessee.
I think she ran for the mayor. Carol Swain. I've been kind of marathoning, you know, some of her videos, and she really is. She's a sweet person. She's dynamic, and she's so quiet. And she also does some work with PragerU. Well, anyway. She says, you know, she saw years ago when Marxism, cultural Marxism was creeping in, and she's like, I apologize to our youth, to our younger ones, because we saw this coming and we did nothing about it. But she says, what you can do, the one thing you can do when it comes to the Saul Alinsky's rules for radical, which he dedicated to Lucifer, you know, so you'll see where all this, you know, they're to Wicca and to all this. So you'll see this is what you're dealing with. This is no longer just people. This is pretty. It's pretty intense.
But you know what? You know what though? Those people don't have any power, because anytime I meet somebody that claims they're a witch and they do Wiccan and all that shit, I say, okay, give me the lotto numbers. No, I always tell them, okay, give me the lotto numbers, and then they always say, and they always say, no, it doesn't work like that, and then I say, well, you're worthless then, go away. You know, so I mean, you know, I'm sorry.
Right. You're right, Carl, because you're not playing the game, so of course it doesn't work like that, because you'd have to give up something for them to do it. But this is the thing. She says, what I will say that you can do is read she says you need to read it because you need to be aware of what's going on, and you need to prepare your kids before you send them into, elementary school, because this starts early. And especially, in college, because she says, use their mission statements against them. When these people affect policy. And they've been good at it. But she says, if you're being bullied, and you say, well, look, wait a minute, I'm supposed to be protected here. I pay tuition. Use their mission statements. Use what they say, their platform. Use it against them. And because it never will fly, because I also saw this quote. Someone said, on the right, we have the truth but no zeal. And on the left, they have zeal but no truth. So,
Right.
isn't that deep? Yeah, it's right there. But it's true. So, again, all this stuff is getting knocked out of the park whenever you see people with their thought process. It doesn't stand. It's just based on fear and lies. And that's the thing. But some of the politicians, they know they're lying. They know they are, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And black people ought to be ticked off when they see the pandocrats come in, because the pandocrats. But it's insulting. It really is insulting. And I don't see why.
No.
Again, a lot more people are awake. It's just that what we see in the media. We're seeing it with our independent, just like you, Carl, and the other independent journalists. We know what's going on. We know that there's a change, and it's a big change. I think, again, cleaning up the voter rolls, with President Trump exposing, and this administration exposing what they've exposed, and Project Veritas. I mean,
that's been great.
Yes.
That's been great.
I believe we've won. I believe we've won. And Ted Cruz interviewed that guy. Oh God, what's his name? And
Beto.
Prager spoke, and there's another guy said, that depending on how aggressively Google, the parent company, decides to hide and shadow ban and throw certain information to certain people who are Democrats, they can sway 2.6 to 10.4 million votes, depending on just how hard they pursue it. I was so shocked.
Well, you got to remember, Trump only won Michigan by 11,000 votes. I mean, that was a close race.
I'm thinking it was, and it was probably a whole lot more than that. But I remember when Bill Clinton said in Detroit, he said there are 10,000 structurally sound houses that would be perfect for Syrian refugees. I'm thinking, you have people there who are on the street, who are homeless,
right?
And they wanted to move in Syrian refugees. So again, I think what I've noticed too, Carl, just by because now we're on this politically correct stuff, black people tend to really believe, quote, in their leaders, and be very it's this tribal mentality that you don't see anything that your own people might be doing to you because of a fear that you don't want to get those people in trouble, or you feel that the man is after you. But this is why you'll see a lot of just being stuck and not seeing that the Elijah Cummings types have just been looting you. They don't see it. But being exposed was beautiful too. And President Trump will throw the bone out. He'll say what he has to say, and you best believe there's always later on the media will pick it up and they'll just try ravage, trying to just get at him. And then you'll see slowly Jack Brewer told him, please expose Elijah Cummings. Kim Classic make a little video about Baltimore. Everything.
Well, actually, that's
cleaned up.
Well, yeah, actually, that's what Trump. I mean, I covered that a couple of weeks ago. That's what Trump actually watched. And I actually played an interview she did with. It was a Black First Sight interview she did a couple of years ago, and she was explaining who she is and what she was like when she was a kid. And the problems she had like alopecia, alopecia or something like that. And she lacked confidence, so she wanted to start she wanted to start a women's group to kind of give women confidence and job training and education skills. And she would write into Baltimore, right down by the harbor. That's where she opened her nonprofit. And so then I actually played the video that she showed, and she's interviewing these people, and these people saying, oh, this place is infested with rats and rodents and stuff. And so then Trump sends out that tweet. He's just repeating that not just what Kimberly Klacik was saying. He's repeating what the people who were living there were saying. They were saying he just said what they were saying, like the place is infested with rats and rodents. And then that guy goes down there and pulls up 12 million tons of garbage, and then they give him a hard time. You know, I mean, shit. I mean, the residents loved it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, that's what I'm saying, and again, so Carl, that's what I've noticed, and I know where those people are when I say that. I know the mentality. I was once there. You know, things got better for me when my grandmother took me in, but I was raised by great grandparents at first, and these were good people. They weren't racist, and my grandmother, they knew the KKK. Okay, so these are people who were born in the early 1900s, 1899. So again, this is so they weren't, but I do know that there's a whole lot. I think the rhetoric has been worse than what has been with the actual. Just like people were doing well out of slavery, and then all of a sudden, you know, the 30s kind of hit, and then the 60s, and then it's just been downhill. But yeah, but Baltimore, there's no sense in the city, so that.
Right. Actually, black income from 1945 to 1954 increased 400%. It was the largest single increase for any ethnic group in the United States for that same 9-year period. So I mean, when they came back, when they came back from World War II, the troops came back from World War II. There's a lot of opportunity, obviously, and their incomes in 9 years skyrocketed 400%, which was, again, the highest among any ethnic group in the United States. So in the 50s, they started doing really, really good. You started seeing the emergence of the black middle class, you know, and things started going good. And then, of course, 1965 and LBJ and welfare, boom. You know, just when they just started going, it just started getting really, really good. And all of a sudden, bam, kaboom. There it goes. Yeah. It's been shit ever since.
Yeah.
And I do think they were targeted. I do think that there was a literal targeting. I do, because there's no way things could go that badly. But again, you know, there was some brokenness already because things weren't so perfect. Because you don't just, you know, what I think that, and again, but that's another topic. But
no, they weren't perfect, but they were getting better.
In the leaders.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so...
Yeah, they weren't perfect, but they were getting better. Yeah.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
And with all those, with everything, with those many things, you know, going against you, but it also takes away from other people who were here going through things and suffering and struggling too. It wasn't just black people. I think what made it unique was that being a different color, you know, and because everybody was from, you know, somewhere else, but again, I just think that we need to always remember that this is a human condition, and I want for black people to get out of this mindset, and but the left continues to push it because they're the original racists. So, you know, and nothing ever changed. But to keep thinking that other people are against you, there are a lot of people who still believe that, and they hold on to an anger that. You might have more problems in your own race, but you only see something from someone else as a problem. But a lot of people came here and have made it, and they struggled, and they've been through adversity, and they were slaves. I just want black people to realize it's not the only ones.
Well, no, but you guys had it pretty fucking rough. I mean, you know, shit.
It was, but Carl, but I know, but listen, but Carl, we can no longer. I'm loath to say that anymore because I also know how the black community protects criminality. This isn't just the left doing this. Well, they just use black people's pathology against black people. So I know how we're raised to protect the men. And then in turn, you know, you get the anger from the men towards the women because in the real world, that's not how patriarchy or masculinity works. So the women are in the masculine space and the men are in the feminine space. That is how that is flipped upside down in the black community. It is. I lived it. I know it. I was raised that way. So
well, I'll definitely take your word for it.
Do so, please. I wouldn't lead you astray, but I'm telling you that just because I know, but for other people, and this is why you'll hear the image or the trope of the angry black woman, or the black woman is she thinks she can do it all. It's not that you think you can. It's that look at the out of wedlock rates. That's because both people are participating and bringing in children into the world who are unprotected. There is no, it's not the same in the Black community, and that's now, at least people are realizing it, and something's being done about it now. But it's taken other people to come in to say, who don't look anything like you, to say, look, this is off. Did y'all know this, or how won't you look into that? Because you have other Black people who have sold out and leveraged other people for gain. And that's what's going on here. So at least it's changing, and America's back. I'm so glad for President Trump, but we always have to, it's not Trump didn't do this on his own. Thank our Creator, because we know more and we're seeking things out more than we ever have, because we have just not been aware. We've allowed so much stuff to come in that, people just get used to things, and the left will whittle you down with all sorts of stuff that goes against humanity, period. And everything, next thing, we're buying into it. And no more.
Right.
No more.
Well, I hope no more. I mean, at some point, the adults have to, take over the conversation. We can't. The liberals are going to keep treating Black people like children, and then keep, not. If you don't treat somebody, if you don't treat a man like a man, he's not going to act like a man. That's just the way it is.
Well, but they can't do it unless it already was some pathology in the Black community, which I'm telling you that there definitely was, because you have the fear that the Black man was always the target. And so there's an irrational fear. So what you do is you raise your sons and you raise the boys to be the protected ones, and the girls are supposed to be the tough ones. And you tell the woman to, no matter how much he doesn't achieve, because you're not going to push him, so hard, but you'll push the girls. But now she's supposed to then lower her standards and then choose said guy. So again, the men are, look at the example of, and now I don't know the details, I admit, but President Trump kind of rescuing, what's his ASAP Rocky. It's always, and then the basketball player's son. It's always the image of the Black man needing to be saved like that. And, I don't know and again, the male is the victim. If the men of your race are seen as victims and they see themselves as victims, and then you're going to have a problem. So yes, I do realize there were things, but Carl, my great grandparents and my grandmother, and she was widowed when she took me in. I never heard them talk badly about race like I do people who never experienced anything. My dad integrated the bowling alley in our hometown. He's in his 70s now. He's a Vietnam vet. But so he knows, but even he's never said anything negative about white people ever. Never.
Well,
again, what I'm saying is you have a whole, there's a big lie.
Well, I think what you have, I think you have a lot of people living in 2019 who are wishing they were living in 1959, so they'd have something to complain about. I feel like they're really,
who never lived in 1959, and they
that's what I'm
wouldn't be
saying.
able to survive it. Right, exactly.
Yeah,
they wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, because then they could really have something to say. I was part of a struggle. It's just a question of people wanting to create some kind of self-worth. If your life is just kind of normal, if your life is just kind of normal and boring, well, and then you have kind of a normal and boring life, you don't have any kind of worth. Well, you got to find something to make yourself feel valuable, and if it takes becoming a victim or being oppressed and being, having to fight the man, it's like after World War II, it's kind of a similar situation. After World War II, there was suddenly all these millions of people who were part of the French resistance, where if all these people who raised their hand and said they were part of the French resistance in World War II against the Germans could have never held France. many people were not part of the resistance. It's just that they said, "Oh yeah, I was in the resistance. Yeah, I was in the resistance." And it's like, like you
Yeah.
said, the Germans were like, "Shit, if all these people had been in the resistance, we could never have held on to the continent." So I mean, same thing. It's like people want to feel important. They want to feel important. So it's like,
Yeah.
if they're just walking around, going to work at Walmart, putting on a name tag, and then going home and putting on ESPN. Well, okay, but if you can say, "Oh, I got a press today," well, like all the stories you see where people get pulled over
Mhm.
and then they make up one story about the cops and then the video comes out and they were full of shit. It's like, well, they felt important for a
Yeah.
few moments. It's like, I'm somebody. I was
Right.
oppressed. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
Well, you ever see those?
Talk
Mhm.
about go ahead, Derek.
Oh no, I was just gonna say. I remember seeing this video one time. Like, you ever watch America's Dumbest Criminals? Where I saw this one where this guy was driving his van, and the cops got their dash cam on, and these guys in the van they're throwing out these blocks of cocaine, and they're making these big splashes on the ground, and you see like every 3 seconds they're throwing something out, and I'm like,
Remember that?
well, yeah, it's ridiculous. It's, I mean,
It was.
oh my God! I mean, where did they learn how to be criminals?
Being thrown on the. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, or the guy. I mean, it's the result of it's just where we're at today in society with people. I mean, like the white liberal is probably the worst of the worst. I mean, they don't understand. Tim Pool did a really good video today about how conservatives understand liberals better than liberals understand conservatives. But the problem that a lot of the conservatives have is that the conservatives like to make fun of the liberals. They call them snowflakes. They call them, they say, well, liberal tears are going to pour. But the fact of the matter is that their indoctrination and their mindset is very, very hell-bent on bringing socialism to this country. And they can laugh all they want. They can laugh all they want. But, I mean, even I make fun of and with all my one-liners on AOC and the squad, and, oh, yeah. I kind of had to cool it with that, with the new rules of it, with them.
Because black people have already raised in socialism. So when you look at the hood and you look at the projects, that's why it's so difficult and scary, because they've already been.
Yeah.
That's what they know. It's socialism. So until you break out of that, because it looks like this man is coming in to take this away from, but that has not been the case. And what they don't get is that not even there's a lady named Angela Stratton King. I forgot her middle name, her maiden name, but anyway, she's Alveda King really helped her out a lot, and she was in that big scandal with. She's a Trump supporter, and she's with the Walk Away movement. With Brandon Sharp. Well, she was in that mess with Fraser Parks and Apollo and all that stuff. I didn't know that was her, but that's her. She was like, I'm so glad that when she got out of prison, that she wasn't, because she was a felon, she wasn't able to take part in the welfare program or be a recipient of the social safety net. She was glad, she said, because that way she wrote a book. She has her own little publishing company. She was happy that she didn't get into the because like even my sisters, and we had different fathers that were raised separate from me, but they, my mom raised them in welfare, and both of them ended up there, and so it's like it's a cycle. Literally, it's generational, but it's on purpose. Then you see the imagery, you see the filthy rap, gangster rap, the music, all that stuff. So the black community has a lot of accounting. I mean, they're accountable for a lot that they keep putting on other people, trying to hold other people accountable for the problems, when we have allowed this degenerate culture to drive the bus. This is not about white people. This is a lot of the stuff is that what we have allowed and defended, all in the name of not insulting or not, calling anybody or not making anybody look bad out of a history that a lot of people didn't even live. So, that's what it's about too. So that's why I say with the black people, there's no excuse. There's no needing to blame. But when now when I realize what the left is doing, because I know leftists, they hijack liberal. So, I try not to use that liberal word, but the leftists.
Yeah.
I now blame them and look at them in the Democrat Party because now it's obvious. I'm seeing them, when the scales have fallen off and I see them for who they are. And when I see the racism hit you in the face, like, oh my God, is this real? It's almost, you think that it's a parody. They are so racist, it looks parody. It looks like it's a parody. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway.
All right.
Well, look at that.
I tell you what.
Okay.
What I have up right now, and you should see this on your YouTube channel as well, Texas, is what Tim Pool was referring to was a book written by Jonathan Haidt, and he does a lot of, he's trying to work with a lot of universities to try to get rid of liberal bias in the classroom. He's a leftist. He's a liberal. He's a never Trumper. He hates Trump. But what he hates more than anything, he's an academic. He hates the fact that you're not having open dialogue on campuses anymore, and he thinks that's really bad. Even though he's on the left, he still wants to be able to have open debates on campus like I used to have back in the 80s when I was at the University of Houston. So anyway, what Tim Pool was referring to were this is the 6 moral foundations. This is after lots of research, lots of philosophers going back and forth, and they came up with the 6 moral foundations of any society. And if you see there, you got the first one is care/harm. The second one is fairness/cheating. The third one is loyalty/betrayal. And then 4, authority versus subversion. 5, sanctity versus degradation. 6, liberty versus oppression. And he says for liberals, what Haidt came up with, and he's a liberal himself, was saying that liberals generally, as far as for their moral foundations, what they base their morality on is just the first 2. In other words, care, harm, right. The foundation is related to long-term evolution as mammals, attachment, ability to feel and dislike pain, basically emotion. Care and harm is basically your emotional feelings. Fairness, that's your egalitarianism, we should all be equal, and more like equality of outcome versus equality of opportunity. And then he said for conservatives, conservatives generally have all 6 of these moral foundations that they operate under. So when you look at the scale of things, we actually operate under a lot more morality than liberals do. Liberals are basically emotion, and that's them.
Yeah.
And conservatives are much more, things they're worried about things like authoritarianism, the sanctity versus degradation. That some things are good and some things are bad. It's not some moral. It's not some all equipolence, moral equipolence like
it has to be a right and wrong. Right, exactly. You can't math and math 2 + 2 always equal 4. But leaving that up to it's your decision or what do you think? I told you, Carl, a long time ago that what I noticed in nursing, whenever we'd have side rails up for patients, I noticed that, you can't have all the side rails up. Even if you have a confused patient, let's say one thing happens to one patient, they have this thing where a patient has the right to fall. And I said, that just sounds so leftist. That sounds like that leftist BS. The patient has the right to fall. So I noticed that when I saw that happening in nursing, it affects medical because they don't care about people like they used to. Letting people out of the hospital earlier, giving people a hard time about getting, let's say an MRI or a test that they need. And it's private insurance is a little bit better with that, but government is bad. But going back to those, I skip around a lot. Sorry, those 6 things that you said, you're right. I think with being conservative, what a lot of people said that they've gone back to being closer to God when they left the left, because it does not align with anyone. If you care about life, you can't be for post-term abortion or any of it. I used to be a pro-choice person, but now I know what what they're doing and why they're promoting it and why they so want it and why they are just angered and vicious against people talking about pro life. And again, if you are that, you just have to look at what they stand for, and none of it, all of it's bad. And it's not that they have. That everyone keeps saying, well, we should come to the table and we should talk about this and get on one team. No, that's not going to happen. That's not what they're rooted in. There's no logic. There's no truth in what they're doing. It's chaos on purpose.
Right.
But they have an agenda, and they've raised their children for generations of them to have done this. So that's what we don't even understand. These people have been planted in place and birthed just for the positions they're in today. That's something that they've always planned well. So that system, at least, I mean, they've been amazing at the foresight and knowing the outcomes that they wanted and how to seep in and start to infiltrate, and they've done it. Meanwhile, they've used the decency of good people, of people who are based in, I would say Christianity, the culture. They've taken advantage of that, and they've used that against them. And then other people who are the quote leaders, they've leveraged your futures, leveraged everything for the benefit of, I guess, worldly benefits. But anyway, I've been on here too long.
All right, young lady.
Yeah.
Well,
okay, but it was good talking again. I'd like to call in again.
Oh, anytime. Well,
definitely.
Well, we're trying to remember last time I was trying to get a long time ago. I was trying to get you in on the video call, but something was going on with your internet or something. I can't remember what it was. Did you have some kind of internet problem?
That's what I didn't want to discuss tonight, because I did get a new phone, but
Yay.
I finally got a new phone. Remember, I had lines across the other one, and I finally broke down and got a new one. But I still, Carl, I have no TV, I have no computer. I still have just, haven't had TV since 13, and I have just my cell phone. So
no. You can come in. You can come in on a video phone call with your phone.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing, Texas RN. I've got my laptop and I got my phone here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you don't have to be on a. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be awesome.
So
I've been doing more of this because.
Okay.
No,
all right,
wait.
Well,
yeah.
Okay. How about
next
maybe
time?
the next 2 times? I'll do it. Next 2 or 3 times. Give me at least 2 or 3.
Okay, young lady. Sounds good.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, and everybody in the chat, hello to you and everything. And Dirt, it was good hearing from you. Carl, thank you as usual.
You got it, young lady.
You're welcome. Welcome.
Okay.
All right. Have a good night, Texas.
Bye-bye, guys.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
All right. Bye. Bye.
Okay.
And that was a great Texas RN on the phone call. And let me just clear this one up real quick here. Here we go.
Carl, I feel because I call in a lot, I figured this is better. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm always calling into your show, so I figure let me do the video call rather. You know what I mean?
Right. No, it's good because it also frees up the phone line. So then if somebody wants to call in, like say Texas wants to call in, then or anybody else, then it frees up the phone line. Anybody else can call in and they can join us in the conversation. It took me a couple of months to be able to have a phone caller, be able to converse with a video caller at the same time, where both the phone caller and video caller could hear each other, because gamers do this with 2 computers and with audio. But the one thing different is that gamers don't have to bring audio into their gaming computer. They just have to bring it into their streaming computer. So you can come in, but you get a ground loop, you get an echo, or you get ground noise. Primarily the ground loop, the echo. So it took a few minutes to figure it out. But yay, I figured it out. Whee! But anyway, so yeah, this little article here is kind of interesting as far as basically saying that liberals only operate under the first 2 moral foundations of civilization, whereas conservatives operate under all 6. So that's why, because when Tim was saying, conservatives can generally predict how liberals are going to act, because there's not a lot of variables for them to figure out. basically just looking at two variables, the idea of fairness and the idea of emotion, and that's it. So generally, you can trigger a liberal much easier than you can trigger a conservative, because we have these other four that we're kind of thinking about. We're thinking about things like loyalty to family, loyalty to country. We're thinking about not wanting to be under the rule of authoritarianism. We're thinking that there is a right and a wrong. It's just not a nihilistic kind of thing where if it feels good, do it. That kind of shit. And we think about issues about liberty versus oppression. Thinking about liberty is an important value for us. So it's much harder for a liberal to trigger us. That's why maybe their memes aren't funny. It's you can make a meme up to trigger a liberal because you're only just working off emotion. Whereas if a liberal makes a meme, they're making it. They think they're just making it like for someone who's like them based on emotion, but we're a little more complex than that. And so if you want to make us laugh, it has to be a lot more complicated and funnier than the kind of shit we make up for them. But anyway, we got another phone call coming in. Hold on, got Lynks to Don calling in.
Awesome. Cool, awesome.
Hey, Lynks to Don, how you doing there, young lady?
Hey, Carl. How you doing? How's everybody in the chat? Hey, Mod.
Hey.
All right, great. Yeah, I went to Bristol.
Hey, Lynks, what's up?
Hey, what's going on? What's up?
What's up? How you doing?
Bristol, Connecticut, to go to Lake Compounds. It's the first amusement park. It's like 300 acres, and they have a water park / amusement park. It was nice. And I kept the Trump hat on that you gave me, Carl.
All right.
And I made sure I kept it on. Listen, a lot of people, not a lot, just some. It was just, I didn't really get a lot of looks from the white people. I got a lot of looks from the black people. And they would look and stare at me and I smile. And I'm like, Trump 2020. And then there's some that were there, the white people that probably were like the silent majority. They would look at me, they're smiling, they put their thumbs up. And I'm like, yeah. Trump 2020 all day.
No shit.
Well, yeah. No, when I went to visit family, my mom's family, one of my family members thought that they were going to get deported because Trump, got in office, and I'm like, okay, did it happen? No, it did not happen. And if you keep listening to Telemundo, Univision, and all these other Spanish speaking outlets that are Spanish news outlets that are overwhelmingly liberal, you're going to believe it. I mean, how could she, she comes from a communist country and she can't see what the Democrat Party is trying to do. I mean, I asked her, and it's funny because a lot of my cousins were ganging up on me, and they're like, they're trying to point out things that Trump is doing good, right? But then they're also talking about, well, the first thing they go to is, where is he, all the stuff that he says about, Spanish people, and I said, no, the stuff he says about illegals, not Spanish people. He's talking about illegals. But the problem is that anytime you hear illegal, it's always automatically referred to someone from Mexico. And we have more problems with people coming from South America than we do Mexico. I mean, we still get our good fair share of people illegally hopping the border from Mexico. Yeah. So when you watch Telemundo and Univision and some of these other Spanish news outlets, they're only getting one side of the story, and it's like, yeah, I'm going to stand my ground. I'm not backing down. I mean, my oldest aunt knows where I'm coming. She understands it, but
I'm Tom Petty all day. I stand my ground and I won't back down. And what's
you can't.
Is that I spoke to a lot of people there, like when I sat down to speak, and they were like, yes, we love Trump. And I was like, wow, this is, Connecticut is a blue state. But they're like, I spoke to them about a couple of things, and is Trump racist? No, hell no. No, he's not. And then I'm like, can you elaborate? Can you tell me why you feel that way? And then they did, and then I'm like, yes, we are on board. Everybody is great.
Mm-hmm.
High five, yes. And everything is there.
Yeah.
And it was good. So Connecticut really isn't, well, that part of, well, the little amount of people I spoke to, they understand what Trump is doing. He's the freaking master. Yeah. He's the maestro. And he's very strategic. I love it. And he gives you just enough votes to hang yourself.
Yeah.
He's
he does. Yeah. Yeah.
He's incredible. Like,
but I'll tell
me showing you, no, I'll let them show you what they do. And that's what he's been doing.
Yeah.
So
right,
how,
but,
I'm going to keep listening. Huh?
Okay. Well, I was just going to ask you, how was Connecticut?
Connecticut, well, it was great. My kids had a good time. My oldest son says, can we move out here? The people are so nice. And yes, they're so, yeah. I'm like, I don't know. I'll figure it out because they've been wanting to move. I've been going there for 5 years. It's a cabin.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have air conditioning, TV, 2 bunk beds, and everything else. And then 2 queen-size beds, a loft, and stoves, microwaves. They love it. Yeah, I said it's not camping, it's clamping.
Damn.
And then we get a tram and take us back and forth to the park.
Yeah,
and
I mean
it's not that expensive.
No, it sounds I was curious because I saw you put that up in the chat earlier about going there and it sounded like you had a decent time. So I was just curious.
Yeah,
so
it's called Lake Compound. It was an Indian owned it, and then he sold it with a thumbprint, and it's like 300 acres. And then and then somebody else bought it because it went down, hill, and then it's Tulsa did his first electricity thing there. Nikola Tulsa, he did his electricity thing there. That was pretty cool. It has lots of history.
Oh, no shit. Okay.
So I was like, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. We go there. I've been going there this is our 5th year. Every August we go there. The kids who go to school, we take them on vacation, and it's pretty cool.
Well, good deal. Well, thanks for calling in, young lady. Appreciate that. And
you're welcome, and thank you, Carl, for the hat. I love it. And I'm good. I red filled a couple. So
all right.
It's pretty cool.
All right, girl.
I love you all. Later.
Love you too. All right. Bye-bye.
Later.
All right. Take care. Bye.
And that was a great Lynks the Don on the phone. That was an excellent phone call. We like Lynks. And there we go. And but so it sounds like looks like she had a nice time there. So a couple of stairs with the Carl's Opinion YouTube channel Trump 2020 hat. But who knows? Maybe I got a couple of subscribers while she was walking around Connecticut with my hat on. Who knows?
I'm gonna try and promote your channel in my wall. I'm gonna post a video. Any video you want me to post, or just a random one?
No, man. Whatever you want to post, man. Go for it.
Okay. Yeah. I think I think Carl, I want to have optimism because there is optimism out there. It's not all doom and gloom. You know what I'm saying? But we got to put the work in. We got to get it done. We just have to find a way to mobilize. I mean, but I truly believe that we can overcome this. I am confident that we can. I'm not overconfident, but I'm confident that we can.
Yeah. No, I think we're heading in the right. I think we're heading in the right direction. I think we're doing a good job.
Yeah.
But I tell you what though, I've been on for a little over an hour, 45 minutes, so I'm probably going to go ahead and end the live stream for tonight. But but the great dirtbag, I just want to say thanks again. I definitely enjoy you more.
Always.
Definitely enjoy you more on the video phone call. It's really cool, and like we were saying, it kind of frees up the phone line also. So if somebody wants to call in, like Lynks or Texas or somebody else, they can still call in, and that's really cool. But I want to thank my moderators for the the blue wrench wall sitting out there, even though no trolls came on tonight. There's a reason why no trolls came on tonight, because they know if they come on, the Carl's Opinion moderator is going to zap them and send them back to troll hell where they belong. So thanks to the mods out there as part of the blue wrench wall. Thanks to everybody in the chat, and thanks to everybody who's been viewing us and all those who will be viewing us later. And so I want to say for Carl's Opinions, Carl, thanks. Have a great night. We'll see you next time. Mr. Dirtbag, I'd like to say good night.
Yep. Have a good night, Don. Have a good night, Jarvis, Lynks, Shonda. Thanks for coming in. Solix, take care. It's a Tai Chi King Sword. Have a good night. And just keep going forward. We got to keep pushing, you know, just find ways to get involved with your community and try to see what you can do. You know, even if you just make a donation to Judicial Watch or NRA or whatever Second Amendment, pro Second Amendment group, you know, it's you know, anything that you can do to find the time to do it. I mean, as busy as I am, I still try to find the time to do it. But
yeah,
we just gotta do what we can.
All right, and yeah, Shonda, you're welcome. Yeah, definitely wanted to put that comment you put up there up on the screen. That was a good one. In fact, everybody's comments were really good tonight. I couldn't get all of them up there on the main screen, but thanks for all the comments. They're really